It's time to say welcome again to the USS Emmons family reunion. Actually, I should say the 50th reunion. It was 1964 when the reunions were resumed, and at first they were every 2 years, and subsequently we started having them every year when we figured we might be running out of years. And that brings us to this point tonight, 50 years later. And I want to welcome all the shipmates, the ladies, family members, and guests. We've had a wonderful 3 days again to start off the reunion. Windsor Locks has treated us well again as we returned, and we had an enjoyable visit to the state capitol and to see that magnificent building and the historic artwork and decorations and architecture was really overwhelming. We've had, I think, outstanding hotel accommodations, and the Marriott has really done themselves proud again. If anything, it's better than 2 years ago. We had a very gracious setting for our memorial service at the Capitol building, which I think added a lot to the occasion for us. And got some nice coverage in the newspapers and local TV stations as well. Armand Jolly is again the star. The other thing was that we've got some exciting news about the memorial plaque that's going to be that has been placed in the Navy Memorial in Washington, D.C., and plans for its dedication and our participation in it, which you'll be hearing more about, and that's very exciting. And for the second year in a row, beautiful weather, no rain, no Sandy, no Louise, no storms to worry about. Perfect shopping weather, I understand. We have a number of special guests attendees to introduce. Now, these are the people who are here for the first time, or perhaps haven't been here for a while and are back with us again tonight. And then some other very special people that we just found out recently were going to be here and will be introduced in a moment. I'd like to introduce Jean and Jerry Schuler, daughter and son-in-law of George Flory. Would they stand, please? Leon Horwitz has his grandson with him. Came down from boarding school in Massachusetts. John Kolodny. Nice to have you here, John. Ken Hoffman's guest is Beth Chaikin, and it'd be interesting to all of you folks I know to be aware that her professional career was spent taking care of veterans as a surgical nurse in Veterans Hospital. Beth? And Ellen Ofuso, I hope I pronounced your name right, Ellen. Would you stand, please? Ellen with the big smile, who makes it possible for Elsie to be here with us tonight, too. and the Corney family. Now, I'm not sure I'm going to be accurate on this, but I know you'll correct me if I'm not. But I'm introducing Patricia. Would you stand, please? Devin and Sean Corney. Sean, was it you that were supposed to be here last year and had an accident? Yes. Broke an ankle? Glad you're in one piece this year. And Michelle Smith with the Corneys. Michelle? Now you remember the Roberts sisters. Bill Roberts' daughters. And they brought with her a younger sister, another Roberts sister, Nancy Neverosky. Nancy? And Jennifer Sinsky was here 4 years ago. At that time, she was Jennifer Culkin. She's the granddaughter of shipmate Ed Culkin, Jen Sinsky. And just yesterday, we found out that two of our diver friends from Okinawa are back here in the States and living in Connecticut. So they're here with us tonight, Josh and Susan Lammer, with their children, Charlie and Jackie. Right here. And they're special friends because they're part of the diving group that means so much to us. Susan is the one who has been making the wreaths for the memorial service. I hope I haven't missed anybody that should be introduced. We have at least one person that will be introduced in a moment. But I do have a bit of correspondence to read to you. The first is from Jenny Donnelly, and she wrote just last week, "We are so sorry to be missing this year's Emmons reunion. Had originally planned to be back in New Hampshire late June and to stay until mid-October. Unfortunately, plans change. Jim bumped his leg during rehab, and the spot wouldn't heal. The treatment took longer than anticipated. Then the logistics of getting us north just for a few short weeks just didn't seem prudent. Jim is still fighting a valiant battle against Parkinson's disease, and hopefully we will be able to travel next spring. To all the Emmons family, we extend our love and best wishes for health and happiness. Fair winds and soft seas." This is a special closing that Ginny uses. She said it's the proper one, not the one we're used to seeing so often, fair winds and following seas. Because she points out, and Ginny worked with the Coast Guard for many years, and she said, as I guess anybody who has tried to handle the helm on especially on a sailing ship, which Jim and Ginny did for many years, that it's hard to hold your heading with a following sea. So we'll go along with Ginny and remember that it should be fair winds and soft seas. And I had a note from Eunice Kaminsky. Eunice is the younger sister of our shipmate, Kenneth Jakubowski, who was killed in the final attack on the Emmons. And she's been in contact with us and some of the other members of the association through her daughter, who has been emailing us. And she writes, I suppose you are getting ready for your reunion in September. My daughter and I would like to attend a get-together sometime. My brother, this would be Kenneth, was a machinist in Fond du Lac. This is she's writing from Two Rivers, Wisconsin. My brother Kenneth was a machinist in Fond du Lac. 3 of his friends came there and got jobs too. Then they were all drafted for the military service. My brother Ken didn't pass. He needed an operation. And after he had it, he was able to enlist in the Navy. And he was the only one of the 4 who didn't come back. There were just the 2 kids of us in my family. Ken was older than me. He was the quiet one. We wanted a bike, so we went picking beans to buy a bicycle. It was a boy's bike, and very nice, a good rider. I belonged to St. Peter's the Fisherman Catholic Parish. The ladies there knit shawls to keep people warm. I asked them to have some for us. And Father Tom gave me 3. Mr. Ed, he called me, I want you to have these for the things for the Veterans Home and hope they will help some needy person stay warm. Thank you, your friend, Eunice Kaminsky. You may not have seen these shawls yet, but in the items that we're going to be taking to the Veterans Home, if we go back to the hospitality room, I'll make sure they're taken out. They're a beautiful work of art, and I want you all to see them before we pack them off to the Veterans Home.